Thinking about this, we are like we're past the halfway mark of the NFL season. So let's do it, guys. Let's talk about the teams who will have the best shot at going worst to first. You got to do it. You got to just get it over with. Everybody does it on every sports platform, content factory. Here we go. Let's take a look at this. So here it is. Over the last 10 seasons, we've had at least one team make the jump every year. That's why we do this. It's like just a tradition. 11 squads have done it. 7 of them have won at least one playoff game. 3 of those made it to the Super Bowl, with the 2017 Eagles being the sole Super Bowl champion out of the group. We had 2 teams pull it off last year, the Bears and the Patriots. So lost in what happened. Let's take a look here. Yeah. Let's see. Out of this year's group, taking a look here, 2 teams have the potential to get it done. You've got the Lions. I don't think we're talking about them enough. And if you really think about it, Hamilton and I went back and forth on this over the weekend. People are eating hot dogs and hamburgers. We're talking, are we underrating Jared Goff? Listen, what happened down the stretch, I feel like we forget how fantastic he was. Gibbs, still there. He's a home run hitter. Faster than everybody, a dangerous, dangerous player. And they've done a good job addressing the O-line, right? They fixed the problems. The defense is at question. They addressed that. So the 9-8 last place finish boiled down to this. The injuries to the entire secondary, which has been a bit of a theme. And number 2, the seeming disconnect with the play calling throughout the year. So the injury luck we can't do much about, we can pray. But the defense is talented if they can stay healthy. And as for the play calling, okay, we got a new guy in town. Drew, here he is. Anybody can 9 out of 10 people name him. This is Drew Petzing, okay? What can he do? He joins the Lions from AZ, as you can see. Hard to give a full eval. Don't know much about him. What went on with the Cardinals, I don't know. The starting quarterback missed half of their games, so who knows? Bright, young offensive mind. I believe in the infrastructure with the Lions. I believe in their hiring process, if nothing else. If I'd never seen this guy or watched anything that went on with the team, I believe in their hiring. I believe in the culture and what it takes to get a job there. Their Indeed.com is pretty tough with the Lions. He's a huge wild card in all of this, but if you can get the offense to some consistency, just consistency. It doesn't have to be Ben Johnson for me to think that they can do better than this and return to greatness. And beyond that, when you look at the NFC North, aren't they all kind of close in terms of talent? We're probably going to get at least, 3 playoff teams out of the division. They're all great. And the Lions' last place schedule, that kind of swings it a little bit, right? For what they maybe don't have in talent or play calling or Ben Johnsoning. If you go by last year's winning percentage, the Lions have the 6th easiest schedule in the league this year. When you factor in what's gone on this offseason, it may be even easier than that. Warren Sharp of Sharp Football Analysis, he did a really good breakdown of this. Shout out to him. And he does have Detroit with the easiest schedule in the league. And that's why they're favorites, by the way. Hey, faves to win the NFC North on FanDuel Sportsbook. They sit at plus 160. Packers after that at plus 230. Bears plus 320. I'd still put the Bears and Packers ahead of them. But when you talk about worst to first potential, the recipe's there for Detroit to get it done. Okay, the other team I want to get to quickly that I think can go worst to first. It's the low-hanging fruit. This is the easiest one to call. It's the Saints, for sure. I have a lot of confidence in Tyler Shuck because the way they played down the stretch, I wish the season kept going for them. They do, too. They won 4 of their last 5. Kellen Moore's a stud. I trust him. I believe in him. But in those 4 or 5 games, they beat the Bucs. They beat these Panthers in the process. Big games, meaningful ones down the stretch. He doesn't have a consistent run game, right? He didn't have that, and now he does. He didn't have Jordan Tyson or Bryce Lance to throw to. So, more running. Kamara seems revitalized. They didn't move him. I thought they might. Run game will click. They made the additions they needed to. They drafted Tyson when they needed to have this guy opposite Olave for Shuck and Kellen to sort of play with to start the season quick, start the season with wins. I think it's an easy call. I don't think it's a stretch to say they're going to be a top 10 offense in the NFL with all of these weapons at his disposal. Now, let's take a look. By the way, big soul holes, I'll call them, with Jamario Davis gone. We don't know what's going on with Cam Jordan. Those guys are gone. There might be some, soul holes there. Who was that? Who was that? Works in their favor. No matter where you look, or what measure you go by, this is projected to be the second easiest schedule across the league. Do I love putting stock into schedules? No, but if I'm putting my money where my mouth is on FanDuel Sportsbook, I'm certainly taking a peek. And we did that for you. You're welcome. A little service here on the show. Saints creep up their second shortest odds to win the NFC South on FanDuel, plus 260 behind the Bucks. They're already ahead of the Panthers. Top 10 offense, top 10 defense, fireworks out the jump, some consistency. Maybe they bring over the momentum. They certainly have the weapons. I think this is the easiest, lowest hanging fruit thing to call. Okay, take a short break here. We will be back. We have Quentin Richardson on the show, 13-year NBA vet. We've got my friend, Mr. Jason McCourty, on the program. Let's do it. NBA career.
Yes, congrats to you too, my fellow Dolphin.
We'll be back after this.
Out here in the world doing it big.
Here in the world.
Let's go.
Here it is. Goff steps up. He's going for the big ball. To the end zone. Oh, and it's knocked out of his hands. Cooks was waiting for it. And it was McCourty, Jason McCourty, who caught up in time to knock it out.
Are you wearing a cheese grater on your head also, Jason McCourty? Because, Quentin Richardson just lit up talking about the NFL. I was not ready for that.
I was tuned in. I do not own a cheese grater. I got no beef. I got no beef with the Packers. No Bears love over here. I take them how they come. That's it.
Are you watching the NBA playoffs?
Absolutely. I'm rooting for the Spurs. So
you're rooting for the Spurs.
I want to see Wemby get one. The playoffs have been awesome, other than the Cavs kind of giving up last night. But other than that, it's been a lot of fun.
I feel like nobody's given the Knicks a shot against either of these teams. Is that a little disrespectful, Jason? You're there. You're out east.
Yeah, no, I definitely wouldn't say that. I think the fact of you just look at the way these playoffs have gone, the way the Knicks have beat up on people, the amount of rest. I was watching something this morning and it said they played, I think, the 4 games in the last 23 days. So you think about what they're going through to get to the finals, and by the time the Western Conference ends, Spurs, OKC, whoever comes out of it, they're going to be absolutely beat up from going at each other. So I think that is in the Knicks' favor as well. So it's definitely going to be a really good final series, no matter who comes out of the West.
Let's stay on the East Coast and get to some NFL action. Of course, you doing your thing on CBS and ESPN. The Giants extend Joe Schoen over the weekend. Mixed reviews from everyone. Does this move make sense to you?
It does. I think if you don't do this move throughout the course of the season, whatever happens, even being in this area, a lot of the local reporters, even when Brian Dable was fired, everyone was asking why wasn't Joe Schoen let go. Even as time has passed, Dawn appointee, she's now the president. So there's been a lot of question marks of where Joe Schoen fits in to the equation with John Harbaugh. And he was going into being in his last year of his deal. So I think if you're the Giants, you get this deal done because now you hush all of the outside noise around your general manager. And I think a big part of this is a lot of people have applauded John Harbaugh and what he's done early on. The thing with Malik Neighbors talking about a draft pick and Arvell Reese, how he quieted all of that. They just had the town hall. Everything just feels extremely positive. Well, one of the reasons that he wanted to come to the New York Giants was who was on the roster, which a lot of that has to do with Joe Schoen as well. Some of the players he drafted, going against Brian Burns, some of the moves that they have made. So I think it all goes hand in hand. I think the extension at this point goes to show that the relationship between those two, John Harbaugh and Joe Schoen, is off to a great start. Now, always say this offseason, spring, OTAs, this is the honeymoon phase. Right?
Okay.
There's no wins, there's no losses. Everybody loves each other. It's hugs and smiles. When stuff gets real, we'll see how it goes.
It's so true, and it's such a great point. I thought maybe I'd come back from the long weekend. I didn't watch anything. I didn't watch any NBA. I didn't keep in touch. I saw whatever was trending a little bit. I thought maybe I'd come back. Just maybe, like the football gods would reward me with AJ being moved already. Because I'm with the count, can we just be done? Can we done? It's not June 1st yet.
You gotta be patient. June.
Is that it? Or, is he going to be a Patriot?
All the people that are on the inside and that they know continue to echo the same sentiment that it's almost a done deal that he's going to be a New England Patriot. It always feels like whenever something is said for that long, for about a month now, this has been stated, you always feel like something could potentially happen. Is there another team that may come into the mix? It does feel like he's on his way out of Philadelphia. the Patriots just make so much sense. The relationship, obviously, that he has with Mike Vrabel, going there with a quarterback and Drake May, and what they were able to do last year, getting to the Super Bowl, giving him a target on the outside like an A.J. Brown that can dictate coverage on the defensive side of the ball, a guy that can get open on a third down and be able to throw one up to him. So this just feels like it's going to be the move to happen. And I think for both sides, it would be the right move. It seems like A.J. is not going to be in Philly, is not a fit, and it makes a ton of sense for New England, bringing in Romeo Doubs to be on the other side. Like, you look at what they would potentially have with that wide receiver room, as you put it right up there on the screen. Like, Drake May was the runner-up to the MVP last year. Now you give him a guy like A.J. Brown. We saw what Diggs did for Josh Allen when he got to Buffalo those years ago. For Drake May, the step is a small one to get to how he played last year if you're an MVP, getting your team to the Super Bowl. So I think it would be an exciting time for New England to get a receiver of that caliber to be on the outside.
If they get AJ, and they should, and they will, how am I looking at this team this year?
You know,
I can't
there's
decide.
so much. Yeah, there's such a narrative out there that they only won because of how weak their schedule was. And now this year they're going to face, obviously, a completely different schedule with finishing first in the division. Look, they won 14 games a year ago. So say they have a down year this year and they win 11. Like, that's still going to be a team that's really good in the AFC. I think they've made some really good moves in the offseason, getting a guy like Kevin Byard to come over and be in that safety room there. Elijah Vera-Tucker on the offensive line. He's been injured as a New York Jet, but if he can be healthy, that's an all-pro caliber offensive lineman to add to the mix. So, listen, you're a team that last year no one expected you to do what you did, but they also were a team that is still building. Still, some of those draft picks have to still continue to hit. Kyle Williams was on that screen, receiver they drafted a year ago that didn't get much opportunities with what was in front of him. What kind of year can he have in year two? So I think there's still a lot that's kind of flushing out that they're still developing there. So I still see them. They're going to be a contenders in the AFC.
And then I'm thinking, post June 1, AJ goes there. If he doesn't go there, they're still like, I'm thinking, are these other wide receivers, where are they all going to go? These other, I assume all those veteran wide receivers, the Hopkins of the world, Odell's still working out. I saw on his Instagram, like, you know, here's some of these available guys. Is there one that you're really excited about? I talked to Joe Ortiz, the GM of the Chargers. He was on the show last week, and he said the door's still open for Keenan Allen to come back. And he's coming off a great year, and we can't have him playing for the Chiefs or something. But I'm thinking, like, Debo to the Dolphins, Debo to the Chiefs, Stephon Diggs to the Chiefs. Like, does Tyreek go back to KC? What do you make of this list?
I mean, you can see any of them other than Tyreek going to the Dolphins. They don't have a ton in that wide receiver room right now. As I look at that, I think Deebo Samuel would be awesome with the Chargers. I look at what Mike McDaniel, now their offensive coordinator, catch and run style players, get the ball in their hands and then see what they do with it. It would be a lot of fun to watch. Stephon Diggs, you look at him going home potentially to the Commanders, being opposite Terry McLaurin with what they have in their wide receiver room. It seems like it makes a lot of sense for Tyreek Hill to end up back in Kansas City. Rashee Rice in jail right now. Off-season things don't look perfect for them going on. They don't have a ton outside of Xavier Worthy and then Tyquan Thornton, so they're going to need other weapons in that wide receiver room. Also, Tyreek Hill is coming off of a major injury. So, like, where is he at in his rehab process? Where is he going to be when he's back out there on the field? So, I mean, Keenan Allen, just him not being in the Chargers uniform, just, I don't know, he was in Chicago for a hot second, but it just feels like he needs to return there. But who knows? You just mentioned Kansas City for him. A reliable wide receiver that Mahomes can count on a third down situation would feel right. Him being opposite a guy like Travis Kelce as well. So some of these guys, I think, as OTAs and minicamp starts to finish and teams start to look at what they have and what they don't have, we'll start to see some of these guys potentially get into a team and being able to start training camp with them.
Eric Bieniemy with Debo would be fun, just how dynamic he is, versatile. You could, in the run game, they could use him. They've got, obviously, Kenneth there. That would be a nightmare. Who's a better fit for KC? Not even like fit, just overall fit. Is it Debo or Diggs? Who's a better fit?
I would like Diggs more than Debo, just from a route running standpoint and being able to be that kind of best friend to a quarterback being able to get open. What he was able to do in New England this year, like Drake May was able to rely on Diggs, and this was coming off of an ACL to be his guy. He's used to being in those positions. And I guess that's why I said Debo to the Chargers, because I feel like he's a guy that you have so much creativity with on how to use him. That's why it was so well with the 49ers with Kyle Shanahan. You mentioned him being in the backfield and moving him all around to do some of the things that he's gifted and special. I feel like Mike McDaniel, even last year, what he was able to do with Devon Achane and finding ways when everyone knew he was getting the ball of still being able to find a way to get him the rock. I just feel like the Chargers would be a nice situation for him to be able to do some of those things.
Jason, I'm really high on the Chiefs because I'm a narrative-driven person. And I'm watching Patrick Mahomes, the comeback, all of that. But just I'm watching, like, Travis chug beers and, like, get drunk in these slouch chairs they have, Cavs courtside with his soon-to-be wife. And I'm like, why? And I just start thinking, like, why are you coming back? Like, you're good. Go lit. Like, you could have anything you want. Your agents are bringing you deals. Why are you coming back? And it's got to be, he feels like they've got something. I believe in that, and then I also believe this is it. I think this is probably it. Yeah. And then I wonder how much. If you could just like tell me if I'm wrong. Does that play into this at all? When it's like it's the last run. Like it's Travis's. This icon, this Hall of Famer, this larger-than-life thing, like, he's got to go get in shape. He's got to go, not that he's not in shape, but, like, he's got to go figure it out. And, like, you know, is there something to, like, let's do this one time with Travis? I feel like that's going to be in play this year.
I would say absolutely. I mean, him courtside, my aunt was at my house, and she loves Taylor Swift. She calls Travis Kelce her boyfriend. So even with him chugging beer, she was still fine with it, hat on backwards, all of that. But I think the way you said and described how he feels of why he comes back is the same reason Aaron Rodgers is coming back. He has to feel like Pittsburgh has a chance. Kay, I would say to you, do you feel like when you hear that, well, this has to be the year for Pittsburgh because Rodgers decided to come back, so everyone's going to rally around?
No, because Aaron doesn't have Patrick.
Very true.